Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Azzedine and Graham. Azzedine, I want to introduce you to our newest IFAW ambassador, Graham Russell. Graham, thank you so much for being here again. We may not know that Graham is an avid conservationist. We know him as singer, songwriter for the hit phenomenon Air Supply, which is incredible, but who knew that he was also an avid conservationist? So welcome to the IFAW family, Graham.
Thank you very much. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here, and I hope I can contribute to the cause, and I'm all yours.
That's just wonderful. And I just want to say welcome to everyone who's listening today, and to welcome Graham, who is really a phenomenon. And I think you're going to be incredibly interested in what he has to say and what he's going to share, and how closely we are associated already together in the IFAW brand of animals and people thriving together. So I really hope you enjoy what you're going to hear today.
So with that said, Graham, we would love to hear about your passion, how you got started with animals, and really what led you to this, and how it's played out throughout your whole life.
I've always loved animals ever since I was very young, especially birds. I've been the bird guy, But when I discovered Utah, I was able to buy a nice piece of land. And the first year I lived there, which was 1990, I've been there for 30 years now, they had the really incredibly heavy snow. And around my house, all these animals were just dying. They couldn't get through the snow. The snow was like 7 feet deep. It was like a ridiculous amount of snow. All these animals were all over the place, not just deer, they were elk and moose, coyotes, and they were just dying in the snow. So I decided to do something about it, and so I called up the county where I live, and I said, do you have any laws about people wanting to be a conservationist, or is there something I can do? And they said, whatever you want to do, you just go ahead and do it. So I did, and I turned my whole property into a conservation easement, and then I became a rehabilitator for all these animals. But anyway, so I started all that, and I did it for like 15 years, and in the end, the county were bringing animals to me, and they were bringing people to learn from me. But it becomes a way of life. But it's not just that, it's just doing something that has great meaning, like saving lives, animal lives. It's just so rewarding, and, I put a lot of time, effort and money into it, but the rewards were just fantastic, to bring an animal back from the brink of death, it is a great feeling. And I can't imagine living a life without that now.
You're reminding me when you said living without them, one of my favorite songs, honestly, is Without You. And I was thinking, boy, that could be a song that's powerful to reach out to exactly what you're talking about, is that a world without those animals is just devoid of soul.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They just bring so much.
You're making me think, when you talk about living without those animals, right?
Yeah.
In our work, and we get involved in all sorts of things, conservation and wildlife trade, and the sale of ivory and the sale of rhino horn and things like that. And when I meet people who say, no, I'm just not interested, I'm just here to make the money. And one of the things that we used to say, and I kind of stopped saying it, but you're reminding me, is, well, what would the world be without elephants, or what would it be without elk or rhinos? And sometimes those people who just want to shoot say, what do I care? How will my life change if there are no elephants in the world?
Everything needs each other. We all need each other. And we need animals because they nurture us. Like in my greenhouse, there's all these kind of weird insects and bugs and stuff. but they've all got a part to play.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see. And that's on a small scale. Of course, the animals in the world, like you're just talking about, elephants and rhinos, they're all part of ourselves too. So, but you're right, there are people that wouldn't think twice about destroying anything.
Yeah.
And they just do it,
The focus that I try to get across to people, and I hope you can help us with that, is, sharing the earth. And if the answer is yes, then we can have all sorts of discussions about how best to do it. If they answer no, honestly, Graham, there's not a lot you can say to those folks because they just don't see the world in the way that we do.
You're right. The people that don't care really don't care about anything.
Yeah, this is one of the big issues that we deal with, and on the conservation side, and I'm happy to hear you talk about your own rescue work, because that's the other thing that we've really focused on: two pillars: rescue and then conservation. And the point that we try to get across all the time with our IFAW communications is that you can rescue an animal, you can rehabilitate them, but if they don't have a place to live, they'll never go back into the wild. There has to be wild space left.
Graham, we know you have a passion for rescue. So
I do.
We would love to see you come out on the field with IFAW for one of these on-the-field rescue efforts. Do you have any interest in that?
I would love to. I'd be there in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'd love that.
For you to come out and get to Cape Cod and see where our marine rescue team is there, and some of the extraordinary work, and again, to your point earlier, changing behavior of what people have done for years and years and years. They said you couldn't rescue a dolphin, you couldn't rehabilitate it and release it back into the wild, but the marine rescue team has shown that that's simply not true, and they've done it successfully for many, many years. I know that you just celebrated, I think you had 5,000 concerts, which is extraordinary. And very recently, our rescue team just celebrated their 5,000th rescue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I know
it's
extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to help wherever I can. Obviously, I'm a musician.
Well, that actually brings us to Party for a Porpoise.
Yeah.
We heard, Graham, that you may have something special in store for the virtual event, a song perhaps?
Oh, sure. Yeah. When is that event? In August, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
August.
absolutely. I will definitely play for sure.
Maybe All Out of Love. I know that's actually my parents' favorite.
Oh, is it? Plus, I love playing too. Any excuse for me to play. Love and its accompanying emotions needs to be strong. It needs to be loud and passionate. They need to feel that passion and that energy, And when they do, something happens.
Yeah.
What happens is they keep coming back.
What's extraordinary about what you're saying is that for me, it's not just about a project that we do. It's trying to create a movement of people who want to be involved. And we have to find a way to express that love for nature or love for animals. And there's so much bad news that many people feel so overwhelmed and they feel hopeless. They feel hopeless. And I think that finding expression through the music and connecting it, to what we do on the ground creates that movement. And if we put those people together in a way that hasn't been done before, we do change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It is nature itself, which involves everything. It's humanity and animals and people's interaction with each other. And that's what it's all about. It's respecting and honoring nature itself, because, I mean, really, there's no other choice. You must respect it, because we're all going to fall away. We won't be here in X number of years, however many it is. But the legacy has to remain and keep moving forward, because nature, if we join with nature, I believe it will allow us to do that.
Yeah, why would we destroy our own home?
Well, yeah, exactly. it's, I see that on the news all the time. You're so right. And it's like, you really get bombarded with it, but something has to change. The mentality of humans needs to change. It just does, to involve everyone. But you're right. Why destroy everything?
Right.
Because, our children and our children's children will be left lumbered with the mistakes that we make now, or they'll be able to enjoy everything that we do create for them.
I wanted to help us change people's behavior to create, and in some ways, to create new behavior. Because some people will never change their behaviors, but to create new behaviors.
But you're right, behavior can change. And I've seen music change people's minds on things and make them be a different kind of person that they didn't think they could be, And the most unassuming people can change too. The ones you don't think, there's no way that guy's gonna change his behavior, but they do, and music is a big part of that, I think.
Graham, thank you again for joining us, for taking the time to share your stories of your passion for conservation and the beautiful tie-in with music. You've said so many powerful things that I know our supporters are just going to fall head over heels for. So thank you and welcome as the brand new IFAW ambassador. We are so excited for all the things we have in store together to work towards a world where animals and people thrive. Thank you.
Yeah, and Graham, I just want to thank you also and for sharing your journey with us. And so much of what you have said and what you've shared is really what IFAW is about.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my honor and a great pleasure to be involved and to be an ambassador. When I first heard about the possibility, I jumped at the chance. But I hope we can make a difference. I think we can. It'll be a little different with the musical genre coming in, but I think it's going to be very powerful. And once again, thank you for the opportunity. It's a great pleasure to be here and to be a part of the cause.